I have a massive update for you, and it's all because of Databutton. Their new feature completely eliminates the need to use Supabase in your application. Setting up the Supabase integration accounted for more than 70% of their support tickets, and with this one update, they completely wiped away that issue. Thank you to Databutton for sponsoring this video. We're going to build a social media management app using this new feature in Databutton to handle the database and the authentication. You're going to want to stick around until the end to see exactly the steps you need to make this happen. Let's jump into it. Prompt I'm using is a social media manager where employees can queue up content that gets automatically posted to various platforms at optimal times. So I'm going to continue. We're going to skip this section for now in terms of requirements, specification, quotes. You could add in this information if you have it though. And then I'm also going to skip the design inspiration, but again, Databutton allows you to pull in design inspiration, whether it's your own Figma files or other websites that you really like. And now Databutton is creating our app, and I'm going to pause the video while it goes through this initial setup. What's great about Databutton is the task manager AI creates a list of tasks to do. So here are 5 tasks that were created. So it really helps the AI break down what you want to create. And then even within each task, it's going to break it down. Then on the right side, we have our chat. So I'm going to say, yes, let's start with the first task. And you can do that either by chatting, or we can go and just click start task on any of these tasks to get going. So here we are after the initial task is done. And what we can do is check it out in the preview. So it's just going to load up the landing page that it created. And here we can see the dashboard that it created. And it did this all on its own. Really impressive. We have calendar, dashboard, analytics, settings. We have the post, queued posts up to Twitter, LinkedIn, or Facebook. And everything is set up great for us to continue going. So I'm going to check this off as done. So this is what's really great about Databutton is that the task manager is going to work with you. So it's going to collaborate and help you build out your final vision. And it's going to do it step by step. That's something that with other AI app builders, such as Replit, sometimes it can be a little bit trickier to work within kind of a plan to go step by step. Then we can go back to the task manager, and I'm just going to click start on the second task, which is building the post creation and storage system with the backend API. Something I want to really highlight in this video is Databutton has a new feature with the database and user authentication fully integrated into Databutton. What this means is it's now connected to something called Neon. This is Neon. Neon is kind of like Supabase. If you've heard of Supabase before, it allows developers to add a backend and user authentication, meaning users can sign in and sign out. But Neon is another version of this, essentially. It's a really, really good tool. I highly recommend checking it out. But with Databutton, it is fully integrated. So you don't have to worry about connecting anything. They do it all for you. And if we go to our users and data tab here, we can see it created a users sync and a posts table, which it created. So that's great. And if we go back to the plan, we can mark this as done. And then what we can do is go ahead and go on to the next task, which is adding post management features with edit, delete, and status tracking. So it's going to work more with that database. And again, I can't overemphasize how great it is to have this all integrated in one tool without having to deal with other tools separately. And here on the right side, we can see what's happening. It added update and delete API endpoints to the back end, integrated update and delete functionality in the front end, created edit posts and delete confirmation components, and updated queued post component to use the new components. So now if we go to our preview, let's check this out. So let's say I'm creating a new post, which is hello world. We'll select a platform, let's say Twitter, and let's put a date on it, 6/20/2025, and I can have the time be 8:30 a.m. or whatever, and then I will click schedule. It's like there is an error where it says I need to log in first, which does make sense. So let's see if the login functionality is set up. So it did log me in. So all of that authentication is all built in with Neon, which is great. So let me try this again, and let's go ahead and click schedule. And it looks like we're still getting an error. So let me just check the plan and see if there's anything that should be coming up to fix it, and I don't see anything. So what I'm going to say is I just logged in and tested the functionality to create a post, but got an error. And if we go to the preview, we could even say the error, and I can paste it in, although I think it would look at that anyway. So I'm going to send that off, and this is a really good way to debug with Databutton whenever something's not happening correctly. Describe the issue, and if possible, share the error message that you got. It says that it solved it. Let me try to schedule and see if we still got an error or not. And we did still get an error, so let me just copy this in. I'm going to say still got an error and paste that in. Let's try this one more time. I'm going to click schedule. And amazing. Okay, now it is working correctly. And it looks like it actually pulled in the other one that didn't work as well, which is nice. So now it is working. This is cool. We have our drafts and we have it saved to our database. And let's also go to users and data and just see how this looks. And cool. So now we have our user here, which is me. And then we have our posts. So we have our 2 posts that were created as drafts. So now I'm going to click mark as done. And that just shows you how powerful this AI task manager is. When you get issues, it thinks about them and it is usually able to solve them. So let's go back to our plan. Implement optimal posting time suggestions and scheduling logic. So let's start that task. And I'll pause the video, come back in a second. One thing I do want to note is if you ever get stuck on Databutton and your AI collaborator teammate is not able to actually solve it for you, Databutton builds in human support to their packages. So you'll get added to a Slack channel with their team, and they have agent plus human support or agency plus a human advisor available on their pricing page. So let's test this out in the preview. All right, so now it is working. There was just a little bug, and I just, again, like I did before, I just described what was happening and shared the error message from the terminal, which is great that it's all integrated. And now we have optimal times built in. So let's say I want to select morning peak. It'll automatically choose today at 9 a.m. I could say lunch hour. And now if I click schedule post, here, it is down here in the queued post for today. One thing that I find really great about Databutton is that it's really built for this like B2B vibe coding space, where if you want to build internal business apps that you can actually use to automate your operations, it's really optimized for that with this AI task manager, the integrated database, and being able to do all of it all in one. All right, so I'm having a little trouble with the content timeline, but I'm going to move on because I don't want to spend too much time on one specific thing. I just want to think more about the big picture. So let's go quickly back into users and data and see that we have our additional posts scheduled, which is really cool. So let's go back to the plan. Okay, so we're going to just check that off for now. I hope that you've seen how powerful Databutton now is with its integrated database and user authentication system completely built in one. Now we could build a lot more features in this video, but I want to keep it a little bit short and sweet just so you can see what's possible and then you can go and build whatever you would like with Databutton. A few ideas of what we could build with this. Of course, we could actually build the integration into tools like Instagram, in X or Twitter, so that we actually could create the posts. And that's something Databutton is really good at doing with its integrated backend. So you don't have to worry about managing any of that yourself. Databutton is really good at that. And it's also really good at reading documentation to build things like that out. And of course, we could continue building on to create even more features, maybe AI features to help us write the posts. There's a lot more we could add onto this. Thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. With this new update, you no longer need to integrate with Supabase to make your Databutton app work. Everything from database to authentication is now integrated fully into Databutton. If you have any questions at all, leave a comment below and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more free content like this. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.